Hello, welcome to the studio. My name is Matthew Palmer and welcome to this watercolour demonstration, this watercolour tutorial. It's going to be a lovely one. We've got a sheet of watercolour paper here. This is a small miniature size. It's actually a watercolour gift tag. It doesn't have to be a gift tag, but it would work quite nice on one of the gift tags. These are the gift tags that we actually sell on Watercolor TV. You're looking about 3.5 inches by about 2.5 inches in size. You can do this as big or as small as you want it to be. It's 100% cotton premium Matthew Palmer branded watercolor paper. A little bit of masking tape. Sticking this away, stick it to your hand a few times. We're going to do a little bit of a woodlandy kind of vibe here. So we're going to come down, make a little bit of a hill. We're going to change the bend in the hillside. So let's imagine this is snow, that's background. Just going to use one brush for this actually. So we're going to use a small super point brush, beautiful brush for stippling and anything up to a really fine tip. This is Matthew Palmer Super Point Small. These are actually available in sets of 3. You get large, medium and small on the Super Points. But I'm just going to use this small one because it's great really. This is my favourite brush really. I'm just going to use water and I'm going to wet the top. I've not even stuck this thing down because you don't really need to. It's cotton paper, so I know it's going to stay put and working flat to the table as well, so don't need any tilt or anything. Just literally wetting the page. Make sure it's all nicely moist. Is it me or is it moist? Make sure it's all nicely covered, which I think it is. There we go. Looking good. I'm just sort of moving my head around, looking down the edges, and let's paint in a bit of a background. So I'm going to use some natural orange. I've not even cleaned my palette for this. It's naughty, isn't it? Doesn't matter. We've got some natural orange there. Look, beautiful colour. We'll bring some of that in. Bit of a tap on the tissue, and we're going to do a late autumn, early winter woodland. I'm going to bring these up here. I'm going to go darker with these colours in a minute. We're going to put a sky in as well. Get right into these areas here. There we go. And then we'll change for one of my favourite colours. This is called Natural Violet. There it is. All the colours are my own design. Colours designed for replicating nature. Natural Violet's beautiful. It's a great wintry shadow colour. Lovely for snow scenes and all sorts of various things. So we'll take that, give it a tap on tissue, and we'll get that sky in here. Bit of a beautiful wintry sky, loosely working in between the areas that we've worked in. And then I want to go darker. So here I've got some natural brown. All the colours are on Watercolor TV, should you be interested. Let's bring some of that in. I say I'm using one brush. I'm actually going to bring in a different brush in a minute. I'm going to bring in one of the tree and texture brushes, but I want to go for a bit of a wintry colour at the back there. Beautiful. Let's get that colour coming in. Let's just stop there for the minute. So what I want to do now is I want to pick up this brush. The first brush I ever designed and manufactured was called Matthew Palmer's Tree and Texture brush. This is the smallest size, a special bristle designed for stippling. Okay, really nice, very popular brush. We're going to use that with that brown, but make the brown a little bit deeper. Squash, 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 tap it on a bit of tissue. So you've got a lovely, you can see the brush is nice and spiky at that particular point. Look. What I want to do here, beautiful colours. Make sure there's not much paint on the brush because the background's wet, you see. I want to stipple in some of the last little leaves of the autumn, last little leaf of the autumn. Beautiful. Oh, that little bit of light just creeping at the back there. Let's grab some of that orange as well, some of that natural orange. Gorgeous colour for the autumn. Quite strong. Again, just a little bit of that creeping in. Don't want too much orange. And then I want to go darker. So I'm going to use some natural grey. Very popular colour. Natural grey is the #1 selling colour. This is it. Matthew Palmer's Natural Grey. You can see, if you look close, you can see it's called Shadow Colour. So it is basically the #1 colour. It's not got any real harsh black pigments in it as such. So just be aware when you are doing your watercolours, you need a good shadow colour of some kind, okay? As we go across, I want to ease off the pressure a little bit. So I'm very much just sort of just tickling. You can see I'm stippling the paper, just very loosely stippling, very gentle sort of tickle of the brush here. Nothing too fancy about this, just a little gentle tappy tap tap tap. And what I want to do is I want to use at the back of the studio and all this stuff. I've actually got some little palette knives. These things here, they're quite useful for scraping off paint. So a blunt palette knife. I'll put a lot of pressure on. I'm going to go up and we're going to put a branch like that. Just wipe it with your finger. Now it depends how wet or dry the area is to how much it actually comes off. So if it runs back in like it has there, still roll with it. Got a few little flicks going up in the background. So basically what you're doing is you're literally scraping off the paint using this little palette knife, and it's actually really effective. And you're literally just taking it off, and it's catching it just at the right time, just as it's about to dry. That's your secret to that. Beautiful little trick. Really nice. I'm just going to grab that #6 brush, that beautiful super point brush with some of that grey. And what I want to do is just tap a few little bits of dark in, just at the bottom, sort of almost in between the trees. Almost getting right into the little gaps there, just to give it a little bit of interest. Wipe it on tissue, just to give it a bit of a feather. Tickle the edge. Very nice. And then we can carefully remove that tape. Take it off with care. A good quality tape. I mean, this is the stuff we use. This stuff here, this tape here is very popular. It's one of the #1 selling items that we actually have on Watercolor TV. It's a real premium surface to work on. I want to do a bit of landscape now with this, and for that I'm using that same brush. Got the natural violet here. Beautiful, like I say, gorgeous colour, natural violet. Really nice for making snow look like snow. This is natural violet. And I want to just make it a nice little simple little track way. I've done this sort of scene many times over the years, but just something nice about it. Clean the brush, just basically bringing water in. A couple of taps on tissue, and then just basically use water to fade that over. And look how that starts to make that look like a little bit of a wintry path. I want to bring that up into the little hillside there as well. Perfect. Get as much water as you need on your brush. As many taps as you want. You can see how that's created a lovely little, like a little track and a hillside. I want to intensify that hillside effect by just bringing, because I've kind of got the light coming over the brow of the hill there, so I just want to intensify that just by bringing in a few little shadows sweeping over the hill. Again, clean the brush, couple of taps. Look how that's given a bit of shape to that. Again, I love that little bit of light, just sneaking, just kind of sneaking through there. It looks really effective, don't it? Make sure that blends in. Now, what I want to do here is I'm going to use a heat gun or a hairdryer to give it a little bit of a blast. I've got this little sort of heat gun thing here that I use, this thing here, which is basically just being careful, obviously, no water. But I want to use that, give it dry. Nice and dry. We're going to go for a strong colour now. We're going to mix up some of the darkest colours. So we've got natural brown mixed with natural grey. So a real strong, deep, browny grey colour. And for this, I'm just going to give it a tap on tissue. And give it a little flick on the edge. Drag it against the edge. Put like little spots and random dots and things in here just to make it look a little bit more wintry. Brilliant, that. It's still a little bit damp, so just while that's having a moment to dry, folks, let me tell you a little bit about Watercolor TV. We'll come back and finish that off in a second, but Watercolor TV is a streaming service. Think of Amazon Prime, think of Disney Plus, think of all those, you know, streaming services for watercolor. So basically it's your one-stop watercolor tuition. It's been around since 2008, so quite a while. There's thousands of hours of content to enjoy on watercolor.tv, so do check it out. It's quite easy to jump onto the website, all the W's, watercolor.tv. Have a look at the lessons page and come down to latest lessons. You can see a mass of tuition for your monthly membership fee. There is oodles and oodles of content on watercolor.tv. Just have a look, a simple scroll down here, and you can see some of the recent content that's been added to Watercolor TV. There is thousands and thousands of hours of tuition and new stuff added all the time, so check it out and enjoy. Also, something you might be interested in, it's currently the 1st of December, so Christmas is on the horizon. We are doing a special double Christmas watercolor workshop, a virtual watercolor workshop taking place on the 12th and the 19th of December 2025. So 2 workshops for £20. These are live, these are virtual, where you sit at home and paint along. You can watch live or at any time. On the 12th of December, we're going to paint a wonderful Christmassy festive stained glass window in watercolours. We're going to create a watercolour of a stained glass window. And then the last one of the year, the 19th of December, we're going to paint a Christmas carol, a Dickens Victorian Christmas London snow scene in watercolours. It's a special double. It's a double barreler. Very simply, just go to the top of the website and you'll see the big countdown saying in 10 days and 16 hours. And there's the big button to click on for the double feature. These are normally £12 each. You can get them both for £20. So something to enjoy. And once you've bought them, they are yours to keep forever. You can watch them live or at any time. They're quite special. People love them. Let's carry on. It's all nice and dry now. Let's just put a few finishing touches on this, folks. So I just want to go in with this dark brown mix, not that one, this one was brown, natural grey mixed together, very thick. I'm using my small super point brush and I'm just basically want to pop some little bits of almost like little bushes and shrubs and things like that, just working within the area. And if I give that a real good dry, so there's almost no paint on it, because this paper's got texture, you could almost put like little sort of tire tracks. I kind of want to call them skid marks, but we'll not do that. But imagine little tire tracks in the snow kind of thing, where the cars or the bikes or whatever the tractor comes skidding around. And if I take, that's that little bit of tape I used. Let's recycle the tape. We're going to put that kind of just there, like that, following the pitch of the hillside. I want to use this browny colour here. It's a bit of everything, a bit of natural brown, a bit of natural grey. And I want to use that brush. This is the same tree and texture brush that I used on the background hills, but against the dry paper. Just do like a little bit of a wintry bush, just kind of poking through the snow there. Just gives it a bit of interest, I think, if you do that. I probably would be tempted to take some natural grey, just rub a little bit from the corner here. And I'm going to pop that just like right into the bottoms of that. Now if I take that tape away, there you go, you can see it sits quite nicely. I want to dry the brush off at that point so I can create texture. Just want to give it a little skim just to help it sit down. But it makes quite an interesting little scene because it makes like a little bit of a foreground. And you know, imagine this footpath's a bit frosty, a little bit icy. How can you make it look like it's a bit icy? Well, we can come back to that natural violet that we had, give it a good old dry. So it's a very, very dry brush. And what we can do is we can actually drop down some little downward reflections of these trees and various things. Very subtle, just a very fine downward line. And I always think that them little downward lines give the impression as though it's just reflecting that little bit of the trees or whatever, just slightly catching the glistening frosty footpath. And there you go. I think that's a finished little picture. Now, as mentioned, this was actually done as a little watercolor gift tag, and I do like to do this sort of thing. They are quite nice. They're quite rewarding little things to do, aren't they? But you know, just to paint a little miniature watercolor like that, I think it's great. And, you know, I'm just using a few colors. All you need: one brush, a couple of colors. Happy days. Thanks for watching. Do make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're new to the channel, make sure you leave your comments, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.